Hi, welcome to Rules Challenge. My name is Carter Maxwell. Before we get into the Rules Challenge itself, I should give some introduction for people who are new to the show. So what is a Rules Challenge? It's basically just a test of your knowledge of the rules of the game. I run through a series of moves in a real game situation, and after each one I'll stop and ask legal or illegal. Now if you need time to mull it over, that'd be a good time to pause the video. Otherwise just let it play on and I'll answer the question and give some explanation. Now I'm not trying to trick anybody here, so occasionally I'll leave a fiddly thing off screen. Don't worry about that. The core of the example will be in front of you. And also, in case it causes some confusion, when I do call out a move as illegal, I don't try to reset the board to what would have been a legal game state. I just play on from there. And last, I should mention that this is intended for people who are already familiar with the rules. I've collected the most common mistakes or misunderstandings I've seen in my own plays of the game or in online forums. So this tends to be the most complex parts of the game. If you haven't read the rule book yet or watched a how to play type video, go do that first, then come back here and test your understanding. So why would you want to put yourself through this? The goal here is to help your own plays of the game go more smoothly. Whether that means spending less time hunting through the rule book when you run into edge cases, or avoid having to put an asterisk next to the final score of the game because you realize too late that a major rule had been broken. That's what drives me nuts and inspired me to make these videos in the first place. So with that, I think we're ready to start the next episode. The game we're looking at in this episode is Birmingham. I love this game, but I'd be shocked if anyone gets through their first playthrough or two without some serious mistakes. That's why I thought it'd be a good candidate for my first episode of Rules Challenge. In addition to all the rules examples I give, I also make 2 or 3 suggestions on just how to manage your games for newer players to just help minimize the mistakes that are made, and I just tack those on to my answer to the first question. We're going to pick this up at the beginning of the rail era because that's when some of the more complex rules kick in that I wanted to demonstrate. And the first player in our turn order is Brown, so we'll go ahead and start with them. For the first action of the era, Brown is going to take a lone action. Any card can be played for that. So we'll put the card down, take $30 from the bank, and then adjust the income marker down 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Now that move is illegal. Now it's super basic, I know, but bear with me. This is worth mentioning because this is probably the easiest mistake to make in the game. What Brown should have done, from 14 gone down instead of 3 spaces, 3 levels. So that would have been from 14, 1 level down to 12, 1 level down to 10, 3rd level down to 9, or the -1 income spot. I would recommend that you just have one person in charge of moving the income markers. With all 4 people trying to move their own, this mistake is bound to be made at some point. Now another technique I would suggest that I picked up from Heavy Cardboard is to pay your money initially to your cards when you take an action rather than directly to your turn order marker. So let's say we've got a couple cards out here. We've taken 2 actions that have required money. If you decide you want to take back one of your actions for some reason, or commonly you realize you did something illegal and have to take it back, if you've kept them distinct, it's easier to rewind your move. I can say, oh, that Colebrookdale move was a mistake. I will take my money back, take the card back, and redo it. Another thing I'd recommend, this isn't as big a deal, but I kind of regret not doing it my first couple plays of the game, is to put some sort of marker out on the board to indicate canal lines or rail lines that can't be used. In the rail era, there's just one line that you can't network on. During the canal era, that's where I've seen the mistake made. There are about 8 rail lines that could be blocked off just to remind people that they can't use it during that era. For the second action, Brown would like to play a pottery in Coventry. So Brown plays a pottery card and pays the 17 quid shown next to the pottery tile. And then that will require paying for iron. Brown will then place the pottery tile on the open Coventry space and consume 1 iron for 1 quid. Now there's a few things worth pointing out here. First, even though level 1 industries were cleared off the map at the end of the canal era, that doesn't mean that level 1 industries necessarily can't be built in the rail era. In this case, pottery tile does not have a blue half moon next to it, indicating that it can only be built in the canal era. Compare that to the level 1 iron or level 1 cotton that do have the blue half moon there. Second, note that there's now 2 brown tiles in Coventry. In the canal era, that would have been illegal, but now that we're into the rail era, there's no limitation on how many of your own industries can be in a single location. And then the last thing to point out, and this is the most important, is whether that was even a proper use of the industry card. When you play an industry card to build in a location, that location already has to be part of your network. In this case, it's first turn of the era, Brown doesn't have any links running to Coventry, but he already has presence in the form of a coal tile there, or coal industry. So he's eligible to play an industry card to build at that location. That completes Brown's 2 actions, so we'll move the money spent to the turn order marker and move on to gray or blue. I'm not sure what people typically refer to this color as. For Gray's first action, Gray would like to do a develop action. So they're going to play a Coventry card and remove 2 level 2 cotton tiles from the player board. And as part of that development action, Gray will consume 1 iron and pay $1. That move was illegal. Remember that when you're consuming iron for a development action, you're paying per tile removed, not just for the development action itself. So Gray should have paid 2 more quid for the second iron consumed. For the second action, Gray would like to do a network action. So any card can be played for that. And Gray's going to do a double rail build, so that will require $15. The first link, Gray will place on the rail line from Derby to Burton-on-Trent, and the second link will be placed on the rail line from Burton-on-Trent to Kennock. Gray will have to consume 2 coal for those 2 links, and there are 2 available there on Brown's coal mine in Kennock, so those will be taken off the board at no cost to Gray. Gray also has to consume a beer, and Gray has a beer available on his own tile in Derby, so that'll be taken off the board. That will flip the Derby Brewery. Income is marked to go up 5 spaces, so Gray will move up 5 spaces on the income track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That move was illegal. Here's where the move went awry. When you're laying down these links, you're not laying them down simultaneously. You're laying them down sequentially. So when Gray laid that first rail link down, 1 coal needed to be consumed at that time, and there's no access to coal from this link. There's no link to the market, and a link hasn't been established yet to that coal in Kennock. That concludes Gray's 2 actions, so the money spent that turn will be placed on Gray's turn order marker. Now it's Yellow's turn, and Yellow's going to take a network action as well to get in on that double rail gravy train. So any card can be played for that, and 15 quid for the double rail action. Yellow will place her first link from Stoke-on-Trent to Warrington. That connects to the coal market. Yellow will pay 1 additional quid. And the second link will be placed from Stoke-on-Trent to Stone using our coal market connection again. So 2 additional quid will be paid. And as part of the double rail build, yellow also has to consume a beer barrel. So now that yellow is connected to the Warrington market, yellow is going to consume one of those beer barrels. This network action again was illegal. The problem was in the beer barrel consumption. Merchant beer barrels are only eligible for use when you're making a sale to that merchant. If you're just using it for a double rail build, you cannot use the merchant beer barrels. You'd have to obtain beer barrel from another source. For second action, yellow will take a scout action. So she'll play 3 Vinny card. And then yellow will take 1 wild industry card and 1 wild location card. This is another very basic move, but I have seen some confusion about it. What's really happening here is you're playing 1 card just to take the action. Then you're paying 2 cards to pay the cost of the scout action itself. And that's what allows you to take the 2 new cards. So it's a total of 3 you're spending. That completes yellow's turn, so she'll go ahead and move the money she spent to her turn order marker. Finally, it's purple's turn. Purple would like to build a brewery in a farm brewery location between Worcester and Kidderminster. That is a build action, so purple will play a wild location card. Purple is going to build her level 2 brewery, so that'll cost 7 quid and an iron. So that'll be 7. And then the iron track is currently at 2, so 2 more quid. And we'll remove that iron. Purple will take her level 2 brewery tile and place it on the farm brewery location. The brewery needs to be seated with the beer barrel, so we'll place 1 on the tile. This move was illegal. The farm breweries are a special case. They are not named locations, and the wild location cards can only be used with named locations. So with the farm breweries, the only way you'll ever reach them is if you first manage to reach them with your network and then play an industry card, either a regular brewery industry card or a wild industry card, to allow you to build in that location then. Also, purple placed the incorrect number of barrels. Remember that in the canal era, you're placing 1, and in the rail era, you're placing 2. That isn't like or slash there. It's not your choice. It's just determined by era. Since we're in the rail era, 2 beer barrels should have been placed on that. Purple's second action will be a network action. So any card can be played for that. And it'll be a double rail build, so that'll be 15 quid. First link will go from Belper to Leek, consume 1 coal in Leek. That'll flip Gray's coal mine, and Gray will gain 7 income from that, moving to 29, space 29. The second link will go from Leek to Stoke-on-Trent, and that will reach out to Warrington market, and that market coal will cost 2 more quid. As part of that double rail build, purple also has to consume a beer barrel. So purple will reach out to their own barrel from across the map, clear that, and that will flip their brewery, and they'll go up 5 spaces from 19 to 24. That move was legal. Now, it may look an awful lot like Gray's earlier illegal move, but here's the difference. Gray was not able to reach any coal until the second link was placed. Here, purple gets the 1 coal she needs when that first link is placed. Then, when the second one is placed, she can reach the second coal she needs because now she's reached access to the market. That concludes purple's second action, so we'll move purple's money spent to the turn order marker. That completes the round. Okay, we've adjusted the turn order. We've given everybody their income, and we've dealt 2 new cards to each player. So we're ready to start our next round. So Gray will take a network action, which will require just any card be played, and do a double rail build. So that'll cost 15 quid. Gray will place his first link from Derby to Nottingham, and there is coal connected to this link, but that's 2 links away. So Gray will opt for the market, which is just 1 link away, and claim that or consume that for 3 quid. The second link Gray will place from Derby to Uttoxeter, and that again, he's closer to the market than to Cannock, so he's going to again buy from the market for another 3 quid. Then Gray needs to consume a beer barrel, so now that he's connected to the beer in Uttoxeter, he'll go ahead and consume that. That'll flip yellow's tile, and yellow will go up 5 spaces on the income track from 10 to 15. That move was illegal. When Gray placed that first link down, proximity did not matter. As long as you're connected to a coal on the map, you have to consume that coal before you go to the market. Proximity only matters between 2 different coal that are both on the map. For a second action, Gray wants to do a build action in Redditch, so he'll play a Redditch card. Then, knowing there's a yellow ironworks already there where he wants to build, he first needs to confirm that there's no iron on the map. So he checks the map, sees there's no iron on any tile. Iron is only available in the market, so he will go ahead and do an overbuild. He's building a level 3 ironworks, which will cost 9 quid. And a coal will need to be consumed. So for the coal, he'll consume his own in Redditch and place his level 3 in the ironwork spot and remove yellow's level 2. Then he has to seed that tile with 5 iron, looks to the market, sees there are 4 open spaces, so 4 of those can go to the market for a payout of 4, 5, 6. That concludes Gray's turn, so he'll place all his money spent on his turn order marker. That move was illegal. When overbuilding an opponent's tile, it's not enough that just the map be empty of the resource, in this case iron. The market has to be empty as well. Now for Brown's first action, he'd like to take a build action in Coalbrookdale. So he'll play a Coalbrookdale card and place his level 3 coal mine there. That coal mine will cost 8 quid plus an iron. 8 quid will pay to the card. And the iron, there is an iron on the board still in Redditch due to that illegal move earlier. Then the coal mine needs to be seeded, and 4 coal will be placed there. That move was legal. Well, the correct amounts were paid and everything. Reaching out to the opponent's iron was legal and, in fact, required rather than going to the market. And no sale was made to the market correctly because of the lack of a connection. For Brown's second action, he's going to do a network action, just a single network action, so he can play any card, and then he'll pay 5 quid. Brown will place that link from Coalbrookdale to Shrewsbury and consume 1 coal from his own coal mine. Then, because he now has a link to the market, he's going to go ahead and sell his remaining 3 coal to the market for $3, $6, $8. Now, because Brown no longer has any coal on his coal mine, he can go ahead and flip it and move up on the income track 6 spaces to 15. That move was illegal. The placement of the link and consumption of coal was fine. It was the sale of the remaining coal to the market that was illegal. You can only make the sale on the same action when you build the coal mine. If you have a link or a connection to the market at that time, you can go ahead and make the sale. If you complete the connection on a subsequent action, or somebody completes the connection for you, it's too late then to make the sale to the market. That completes Brown's turn, so we'll move his money spent to his turn order marker. For her first action, Yellow would like to take a build action, so she'll start by playing a wild industry card and use that to build her level 2 cotton mill, which will cost 14. So she'll place the cotton mill on leak. She'll check to see if she's connected to any coal on the map. She actually can't reach the coal in Cannock because there's not a link from Belper to Darby, and there's not a link in the other way either. She'll reach out to the market via Warrington, and coal will cost her 2 more quid. That move was illegal. Yellow's network did not reach leak. She has an industry tile nearby, but those links were taken by Purple, and Purple does not provide a network connection to leak for Yellow. So in order for Yellow to build there, rather than an wild industry card, which requires a network connection, she would have had to play a wild location card, or a regular leak location card she could have built there as well. Now for her second action, Yellow would like to take a sell action. So that can be done with any card. First, Yellow will sell a manufactured good from Stoke-on-Trent to the merchant in Warrington. That requires 1 barrel, so she'll go ahead and consume that and take the 5 quid bonus. That will flip her manufactured good tile, so she can move up 1 on the income track from 15 to 16. Then she will sell cotton from leak to the merchant in Warrington, and she will consume her own barrel in Stafford. That will flip her cotton mill and give her 4 income, moving her from 16 to 20. And it'll flip the Stafford Brewery, which will give her 5 more income from 20 to 25. This move was complicated but legal. First off, it's not illegal to make multiple sales on a single action. And they don't have to be the same type of good. It's fine if she sells manufactured good and cotton. Also, just worth noting that that sale from leak to Warrington was fine across an opponent's link. For a sale, you only need a connection. It doesn't have to be through your own network. So you can use opponents' links to reach that market, to make that sale. Also remember that you always have to be able to reach a merchant of the right type. So the manufactured good worked because there was a tile here for that. Cotton mill worked because there was a merchant there for that. I almost forgot to move Yellow's money spent to her turn order marker, so we'll take care of that now. Now it's Purple's turn, and she will take a network action, which requires any card, and she'll just build a single rail link, so that'll be 5 quid, and she'll place it from Coventry to Nuneaton, and she will consume the coal in Coventry for free. This move is legal. It's very straightforward. Purple already has a network established in Coventry because of her industry tile, so she can build out from there. And the coal consumption was pretty obviously correct. For her second action, Purple is going to make a sale so any card can be played. She is selling her manufactured good in Belper through Leek and Stoke-on-Trent all the way to the Merchant in Warrington. That'll flip her manufactured good tile and advance her one space on the income track. Now she had to consume a beer barrel to make that sale, and there wasn't one available in Warrington, so she consumed the one that she had just connected to in Nuneaton, though it belonged to Brown. That empties Brown's Brewery, so that'll flip. So Brown will advance 5 spaces on the income track. That move was illegal. The connections were fine, connecting to a manufactured good merchant in Warrington. The beer barrel use, though, was illegal. Even though Purple had connected to the Nuneaton brewery that had a barrel, that doesn't matter. It doesn't make it then her barrel that she can just teleport into wherever she needs it. If you're using anyone's barrel but your own, it has to connect to the merchant where you're making the sale. So here, the only way she could have used that barrel in Warrington is if there had been a series of connections all the way from Nuneaton up to Warrington, which didn't exist here. That concludes Purple's turn. She'll move her 5 quid spent to her turn order marker, and that completes the round. Alright, that concludes the rules challenge for Brass Birmingham. Hopefully you got something useful out of it. I already have more videos in the works, including one for Gugong that I've just about finished up and I'll be releasing soon, and there'll be many more on the way. So if you want to catch those, be sure to subscribe. And that's it for this episode. Again, I'm Carter Maxwell, and this has been Rules Challenge. Thank you.